Hi guys! This week I thought we would make a fun value pumpkin inspired by Vincent van Gogh's The Starry Night. Go ahead and grab your supplies and let's get started. Let's look at how we would draw a pumpkin. Does this look like a pumpkin? It's kind of flat. What about this? These lines are curved, but it still doesn't look like a pumpkin. Let's try something else. Maybe this. The lines are curved in the right directions, but it still doesn't look like a pumpkin. It looks more like a beach ball. So we want to notice when we're looking at a drawing of a pumpkin, there is texture to the pumpkin. It has ridges and grooves, and the light shines on it in different places. So we want to create that with crayons this week. Look at these two pictures of pumpkins. Even though they are round and spherical, they really don't have a flat surface. The ridges give them texture and light hits it in different places. This isn't a real pumpkin. I didn't have one of those yet, but I had this plastic pumpkin to look at. Just like these examples, we'll use value to draw our pumpkin. So let's start sketching our pumpkin. We're going to begin by drawing an oval on our paper and adding curved lines out to the side to create that three-dimensional looking pumpkin body. Now we're going to add a stem and a horizon line. The horizon line, of course, is where the sky and the ground come together in our drawing, where they meet. Now grab your crayons. I don't know if you've ever created something like this with crayons, but right now we want to focus on reds, oranges, and yellows. Of course, these are analogous colors. They all sit next to each other on the color wheel. Begin with your darkest color, and we're going to color that around the edges of each of our pumpkin sections. Don't worry about it looking perfect right now. We're going to have some time here to blend and adjust, and we'll erase if needed. Now I'm going to use more of a true orange to color in, maybe a slightly darker than true orange, to color in, leaving some space for where we're going to see highlights or where the light will be hitting the pumpkin because it's sticking out further. I'm going to come back and I'm going to start blending out. So I'm using a crayon that's not the reddest orange, one that's slightly lighter than that, and I'm bringing that color in just a little bit so that I can start blending my colors. You can do this project with paint. You could even do it with colored pencils, and you could get a really nice blending effect. Now I'm going to bring the yellow in to represent where the light is really catching my pumpkin. And so that would be on those raised areas right before they start turning around in the curved part of the pumpkin to the back side. I'm going to blend all the colors with more of a true orange, and I'm going to just kind of work from my lighter area out to my darker area and back in. It just helps you kind of get a nice, pretty color gradient. Now when you're doing this, it's best if you push pretty hard with your crayons to get a real solid coverage. They blend better when more of the crayon is on the paper. Really bring that light in right down that center section where I feel like the light would really be shining. I'm going to use my red to just make sure and give it just a tiny bit of emphasis and depth, and then I'm going to start in with a brown on my stem, and I'm basically creating the stem in the same exact fashion. I'm going to use a dark brown, and then I'm going to use yellow to bring in some highlights, and then I'll blend again with my brown crayon. I'm going to outline all of this today in a black Crayola marker. I want it to just kind of emphasize the curves and the areas of my drawing that the pumpkin would be curving back into itself. I like how the black marker kind of brings that out and gives it a finished look. You'll notice I have lots of stray lines. I'll just tidy up as I go and erase as I go. That's pretty normal for when I'm drawing. Now I'm going to use shades of green to color the foreground. The foreground is the part closest to us in the painting or the drawing. It's the part that you see that's closest to the viewer. I'm going to use a dark green after putting a light or medium green on the ground. I'm going to use a dark green to represent the shadow that would be cast by my pumpkin. Now I'm gonna add any final details, stems, leaves, whatever those little crazy things that come off a pumpkin in a curlicue way. And I'm gonna color my leaf the same way I colored the pumpkin. I'm gonna go light to dark using yellow, green, and dark green. Now let's look at Vincent van Gogh's The Starry Night. We wanna use this as the inspiration for our background. I'm going to go ahead and pull out my blue crayons, purple crayons, white, and yellow. We want to create the moon first and want it to be a bright yellow moon. You can use white to kind of blend the moon into the sky. And then we're going to make thick, curved, and swirly lines to show movement through our sky the way that Vincent van Gogh used his paint to do. Fill up that sky as much as you can with swirly lines and stars, little circular stars that are yellow and yellow-orange, and get that space completely filled in. Then use a blue crayon to lightly color in the background. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed creating these value drawings, and I hope you guys have a great week. See you next time.